To discuss the latest in the defined benefit transfer market, I'm joined today by Jonathan Watsley, Director, Wealth at Work. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for coming. So what has been happening in the DB transfer market?
Well, transfer values remain very high. Still not unusual to see 40 times on those transfer values. However, there's other evidence that the market is actually cooling down. So, for example, LCP are suggesting that the number of quotes that have gone out may have reduced by 25% since 2017. Also, anecdotally, we're seeing less activity. So we were certainly talking to organisations 18 months, 2 years ago, where they were concerned about potential factory gating because they were getting a large number of transfer requests, maybe from just one side. So a lot of that seems to have died away now. However, the part of the market that looks as though it's still quite buoyant is the liability exercise market. So where schemes are running liability exercises to try and get members out of the scheme probably before a buyout exercise that they want to run. So that bit still seems quite buoyant.
So what impact is the FCA proposed ban on contingent pricing is likely to have?
Yeah, this is quite an interesting area because if the ban on contingent pricing comes in, it's likely that pricing will be maybe £2,500, £3,000 for advice. And so it does raise the question as to whether individuals will pay that amount of money. So that might naturally contract the market because individuals will decide that they're not willing to pay that. However, on the supply side as well, there's changes there. So we know that some advisors have been told by the FCA that they can't do this work anymore and had their permissions removed. Others are voluntarily taking themselves out of the market. But also there's a big issue around PI insurance. So some advisors not being able to get the insurance for this type of work. And for others, where they can, the premium is so high that they may count themselves out of the market anyway. So I think what we will see is a contraction of the market. But I'm not sure how worried people will be about that. And we've certainly had the Work and Pensions Select Committee saying for months and months and months that they're very concerned by the number of transfers. We've had the FCA doing sample testing of transfer cases, and they've said roughly 50% of those transfers may be suitable. So you end up thinking that perhaps actually if just less people took transfer advice and less people transferred, actually would people be too worried about that, and would the regulator be too worried about that? Because actually all it means is they stay in their DB scheme.
And where does this leave employers and trustees?
Well, I think one of the things that is changing in the market, and this actually isn't just about DB, this is about DC as well, is that employers and trustees are getting more concerned about the decisions that individuals make when they get to retirement. And of course, a lot of individuals right now will probably have a mix of DB and DC. So they're quite keen to put in processes now where those individuals can get the education that they need. So they understand what the options are. They generically understand the advantages and the disadvantages of those options. But also that if those individuals need regulated advice, so for example, if they want to do a DB transfer, then actually that service would be available. So a lot of them are now going through processes, due diligence exercises, where they're just checking for do these organisations have the skill sets? Do they work in the workplace? Have they got experience of that? Is their regulatory record good? Are they doing things like 100% compliance check-in? And also they have buying power. So when they buy these services in, of course, they can buy them potentially at a cheaper rate.
Jonathan, thank you.
Thank you.